OCCT kindly provided us with information about memory chips. Well, naturally full information, unfortunately, we do not have, but we know for sure that we have. Hynix, which one's a die, or MDIA about it a little later, but most likely a die, then we see that they are released in the second week 25 well. Not to say that here are straight fresh, but I had them for a long time, by the way, about birdies. I still bought them, they're probably at 7,500 rub, you cunt. Voice this on YouTube on me now, dislikes are thrown. There were times well here, and then we go to BIOS and try to look at their XMP EXPO profile. So what we have by EXPO profile, I do not know here. See 6,400 and 6,400 here are two chairs, choose any. Well, at AMD it seems like EXPO you have to choose, but I will tell you in advance that the difference is particularly no, but let's put EXPO and see what timings we get if we put just an EXPO profile and score. On this bolt, that is. We will not do anything else. Let's go. So before you EXPO profile, how it looks, what do we see here? We see that for AMD. These modules must be made with handles. Why? Because our system started them in mode 1, 2, 2. Then if by simple 2, everyone understand respectively because of this, what is going on with us? Delays above. FPS, less in general than costs, are all on us. For Intel, you can buy them without problems. Excellent modules. You can just XMP put and everything is gorgeous. Why? Because, and you look what beautiful timings are here at 6400 CL32 tertiary. They're on modules. How many 42 put? There's a more 45. The essence caught well. That is, here even the TRCD was tighted a little. Here are the timings of interest to us that affect FPSTR, FC well hereof. Course the motherboard put him in space. Why? Because XMP EXPO profile they don't usually put timings, but by the way, we can now look specifically in the BIOS. What does EXPO profile put if interested? Well, let's go and meets us here. What's right? The UCLK equals MCLK. To that is, the EXPO profile itself is shown that the divisor will be 1, 2, 2. Like this is what it's made for, and I will explain now, because far away not every processor and not every motherboard able to run 6,400 with a 1-to-1 divider, that is, UCLK equals MCLK. Well, those are the realities we are naturally in guide today. Try to do it. Try 6,400 make straight beautiful so that 1-to-1 was get it or not. You will find out further. I will also find out. I honestly Dick will find out further naturally. Fabricus to it will not put higher. There is nothing to be surprised. So always voltage at 6,400. CL 32 1.4 volts. That's a good voltage. Really good normal voltages. Maybe by the way they can earn less, but the essence of software engineers, or who they are, what do they need to have as much as possible more than a % of people who buy these modules. They have them earned without problems and received less negativity. So always put everything with reserve. Now let's look at the timings that we put. EXPO profile a fucked up. Fuck my gentle dick. Are they fucking or something? How can you fuck? TRFC at 943 fucking stick in at 6,400 really would be better. TREF I would fucking just well this is some fucked up. Well, as I thought. TFAW fucking they even well. He does not need motherboard itself on 32 puts better fucking. Treffy fuck there. I do not know. At 32,000 put, and the motherboard by the way may be put at 8,000. Asus on general there is somehow at 4,000 or something. Treffy fucked. Well, the motherboard itself, I mean shorter expo profile here. Well, this is fucked up. I think if fucking I'm in the auto right now like this, I'll put it the motherboard itself below. We'll put these values just well. This is some fierce trash. Somehow I expected more, to be honest. So well, and one more proof. Now you made sure of it. That XMP EXPO profile is garbage. Other hands must be done either by 6,000 CL28 and don't even go in there. Here, let's do an experiment. I put in the auto now, and we will see that the motherboard will put itself. I think it will be lower. Not in principle. I boys was wrong about the same, and the board put. They're in auto mode. Oh well anyway, but this is strange because well at least in half less hands will work. Okay, let's not talk about sad. Let's make of these modules candy. That is, we put all the timings, select operating frequencies with a divisor of 1-to-1, maybe even in the next guide. We will do with a divisor 1-to-2 for some systems. It will be useful here. If you need such a video, be sure to write in the comments and drove. And now let's see how the modules warm in the first, and will there be errors? If you use a standard XMP EXPO profile for this, we launch TM5 with a preset and a 777 Extreme and watch oops. Momently error, but how is this one more proof that XMP Profile is trash full, no need to count on them at all, and BTW, well, this is special for those who don't really understand in overclocking. XMP EXPO Profile is overclocking. This is factory overclock. A factory overclock it often crooked. Why crooked? It's because they're chasing two goals. One saint is to squeeze as much out of the module as possible. And the second goal is to make these modules work in this mode as many people as possible. That is, they dock not docked, and often jamming. This is where they scraped here. We will watch now. I really hope that this is not some kind of defect. If it's defect, it's scribe think. Don't even want to think about it. If they're really defect, okay, then the video will be more interesting in order to understand, well, at least about beat they are, or not. That is possible. Let's say there's a memory chip biting off somewhere. Well, here we will try to do the same test, but in JEDEC, for this throw off and in default BIOS, and run Extreme onto so launched into the JEDEC. Well, so far, there are no errors, of course, already good, but still, I do not like it because, well, now this RAM costs at 30,000, well, that's naturally guaranteed, well, kind, bought 7,500 if they Chinese will just even return me 7,500. It won't suit me either, respectively. We will now her straight to the end. Well, that comrades, like there are no errors in JEDEC. Here's 10 minutes already working, but pay attention at 1V. They warmed up to almost 39 degrees. By the way, I have Kingbank's 48 gigabytes, AMD Hynix 1.4 volts warm up to about the same temperature. In the same PC case, respectively, I have such a small suspicion that they overheated the case, but on the other hand, there was only 5 seconds before this error. Let's conduct an experiment in short now. We will put 1.45 volts on them in JEDEC. Let's suddenly, it's well really temperature jokes. Of course, there are timings from which they bask more, but let's drop these moments. Just a little more voltage than in XMP EXPO. Agree. Let's go. So at 1.45 volts, we run TM5 and, well, right away there are no errors. Respectively, conclusion, what most likely it was about timings after all, that is SAT 32 or TRCD 39, which so praised possibly at 6,400 at 1.4 volts. It, well, just at little voltage either. TRCD should have put more, well, that's accordingly. XMP EXPO profile here is not perfect, need to tuned well here, well, and again here you need to understand that there is such a great Chinese, random, true Korean originally was, well, now, he's Chinese shorter, I will say it. Port errors into XMP EXPO profile, you will be fine, and you will not see any problems, but here is this error here at the very beginning of the test. She looks a lot like dump TRCD usually here. When dump TRCD like this, she moment, that's when much he's so tighted. Instantly usually sprinkles respectively. We can certainly now. This moment look if you have time, if you promise not to squander. Agreed. Let's go. Well, that put TRCD 40 to, well, that is EXPO profile TRCD 40 to your bets. Let's go. And about the descent does not rash fucking exactly campaign dump TRCD now. I will open the Zen timings to you to make sure what I didn't do anything else there. Here you see TRCD not shorter. I was wrong, don't know what's the matter. Maybe, just maybe, the voltage is not enough. Yes, maybe. Just the voltage is not enough. Let's still voltage 1.45. Put, well, that comrades put 1.45 volts. Well, I hope. Oh, let's see. By the way, how do they warm up? Maybe it's still about overheating. He is. Their instantly temperatures fly up, well. Although, hardly, well, anything can be, so we need to winfo. Open, start and finish. Yeah. No, look at 38, 37 degrees natural now. Will grow. Well, not the point, that is. I expected something more actually. What's on 1 at 1V? What's on 1.45 difference is not that big by temperature regime. That is, in principle, well, just in case you believe the sensor. SPD, radiators are not bad here because let's say, G, skill instantly fly away in temperatures just instantly, so well, radiators are nice, right? Probably in vain. One on them on underrate at the very beginning, well, that is, they are probably on logically Kingbank approximately plus minus, because here you see, even a little more than 1.45 volts, 1.455 volts. And errors do not fall well. I think maybe really that was the point, just not enough voltage small, let's say. There is a chance that there are Hynix, not a die, maybe Hynix M die, and in that case, 6400 CL32 volts was. Sometimes not enough here. I am here remembering our previous overclocks, sometimes real, and lacked had to put something like 1.43 volts, respectively, possible here, and give them, but this we will find out only during the overclock. Otherwise, no way, because well, at the beginning of the video, I already showed in the OCCT information manufacturers. Not sewn up there a die or M die, just well Hynix. And that's it. This is how short of the overclock will be interesting. Well, finally, we proceed to overclock, get comfortable, drove, and to start. Before starting overclocking, we will need a pack with programs. It can be found at the link in the description. Also, do not forget that you can buy from us a service for remote tuning of RAM, processor, and video card. So, before the start of the overclock, if you have worth XMP EXPO Profile, you need to turn it off on ASRock. Let's hear now. Simulate how it will be at the first turn on, but if you already turned everything. BIOS, defaults. Enter, then press F10 or press save. Something is great there, and again go to BIOS on the delete key. And so we started. Pay attention, you should have your RAM stand in slots A2 and B2. Here you see A2 and B2. If A1 B1, then all the garbage. Misha, come on, new, that is, imagine it is important, otherwise fuck you, and not overclock. Then go to OC. Tweaker, and what we need, DRAM frequency, most likely already in the title of the video, and on the preview, it is already written what kind of chips are these, a die or M die. Well, it doesn't matter, a die, M die, doesn't matter. Put 6000. Will we have a universal guide which will be suitable for both a die and M die, because there is a difference, then not that big, just there are a couple of timings, and the voltage is a little, so it will probably be most correct. We put 6000 next. UCLK mode in this guide, I suggest doing 1-to-1 dividers. Here, we will be limited to a frequency of approximately 6200 there. 6400 depending on the luck of the controller memory and your motherboard, so we put the UCLK just equal MCLK. Everything is fine, already good. Infinity Fabric so far, put 2000, then we will return to her at the very end. Remind me to make sure to come back here, and Infinity Fabric. Boost, well, that is pick up, because I sometimes forget, so remind me. Okay, further VDDIO voltage, put 1.25 volts. Is more than usual enough. Further DRAM VDD voltage, it's already directly. Voltage on our RAM, let's put for now so that is in XPO Profile, in XPO Profile 1.4 volts, and see what our modules are capable of on that voltage here in VDDQ. Duplicate, not necessarily there, hold it to 1.35 volts here is EXPO. XMP Profile, also do not bother, so just duplicate 1.4 volts, but if you watch the beginning of this video, you know what we have a reserve here, we can raise it also. Remember, 4 volts can be a lot. Why? Because not everyone's radiators are that good, like Kingbanks. And at CUSU, these here are really good radiators, judging by the SPD sensor, by memory sensor. Well, we don't know how their memory heats, but I'll give you the second pad showed, basically not bad. They are so paved, most likely their mode is everything is fine respectively. If you have any G skill, oh, let's just without dislikes, I well just gonna say it as it is. Well, come on, well, we will agree without dislikes. GSKLL is such a fucking dick, they so fuck the consumer, that's who is. They're what memory there, they will get what press them on the dick, such game do fucking just well. Here I watch people buy these fucking Gypsy Royals and sit fucking in games with temperature 60 degrees in XMP EXPO Profile. Well, funny same when Kingbank, which costs 2 or even 3 times cheaper, well before anyway. Now there is probably no such thing 40 degrees like this, so what? See what modules you have here is an early one. A data. Also warmed a lot, so sure memory temperature, then well I'll show you next. If the memory temperature is too high, hand out from the front, then lower the voltage. Okay, 1 for V. Below we find SOS voltage here, motherboard already put on 1 point to VI. Do not know who allowed her to fucking do this without my knowledge. Okay, I am kind today. Well, 1 point to V. Principle, we leave it maximum. We can do 1 point to 5, let's put 1 point to 5 volts. Then if anything come back and click to 1 and to OK, well suddenly we have 6 for 00. Now, there's C. What correlation sometimes that's for example you want to do. 6,200 or 6,400 at 6,200 1.2 volts will be enough at 6,400 will be not enough respectively put 1.25 or even 1.3 volts, but 1.3 volts on permanent I would never put though kinda like AMD said it was conditionally safe voltage and limited basically no more than 1 and 3 volts, but no comrades on our observations. 1.25 more less even 1.2 for here, and so 1.2 volts is better than 1.2 volts, not to step over, but we are actually overclockers here by the way, so far 1.25 volts. What returned good? And then go to timings drum timing configuration, what are we seeing here gear? Down mode put enable further C, I still have hope small make 6 for 0011. On this motherboard, and on this processor motherboard ASRock, so I now TCL, will put strongly with a large margin to I didn't need to go and raise DRAM voltage. Just already put 1 point for volts, I'm too lazy to go back put 145 there on 5 volts. And so yeah, now just TCL will put because there is a direct correlation that's the higher the TCL is then that less required voltage for RAM for stable operation, but the higher the memory frequency, the more voltage required. That's accordingly we can do it all level by putting TCL bigger, that is put it so far 34. And TRCD we will also put with margin, let's put it for 56 and wonder. Further TW are 48 TREF I 65,280 further TR, FC1C. This is the same timing which we can say separates a die from MDI Hynix, so, well I don't know yet what is. Here, for chip setup is like MDI and even with stock on. MDI turfs 1 higher than on a die for 6 for 00. MDI most likely it's 512 well here, but we will put even more put 560, and there you can see it will be further. TURFSC 2 and SB does not tune into AMD, it will still be ignored, forget further TR, TP12TR, RDL and S both ATFAW duplicate at 32. TWTHL 16 TBDR. Now ASLA, next since we have singles, and I showed at the beginning of the video that these are singles. 111 next SCL, 8 next 111 further. TWR, RD1 and TRDW 18. Everything that is on a die, that on MDI it will work exception voltages, and how you said TURFSC 1 here, remember that is. I just do not know what chips you have memory, yes, I do not know what memory chips we figure out if turns out to be a die, then we can TR, FC below put well basically you can, and so leave a difference won't be some big well in some game extra percentage on FPS you squeeze, there is it worth your nerves. Because if we say you will now strongly squeeze TR, FC1 you will have to climb under the table, you fucking have to go to the computer your worship climb. Take out the battery, either close clear CMOs, need you, this don't know decide for yourself, but I'm motherboardal today. I go to bow of course this motherboard well because you need to find out so, while 560. All exposed, nothing forgot press save and exit enter and boot into Windows, so great we loaded but I did not expect another because here, well the most that is straight strongly everything with margin it will work for everyone absolutely. Everyone, and then we already repelled from the following so as first. Let's just make sure you have working to channel that nothing fell off of you and that you loaded exactly with those parameters that you set and not just you, computer dropped. Everything you are now, in the JEDEC sit and we'll check everything JEDEC. That's what we open AIDA cache memory and memory that's on this scheme press and press start memory test only well. It will just be faster so right away we see that you see 6,000 we work attention. Nordbridge clock 3,000 he should be 2 times less than the frequency. RAM here it means well, everything is fine divided 1 to 1 everything is clear, timings with a margin as we set approximate. Bandwidth you see the approximate on the screen but respectively I do not know what processor you have from the processor she can to change here on octa-core 3D this is how it will be respectively. On the 6 core, well right most likely and copying smaller will on 1216 core to a bit different it will be well about that shorter it will not be much different there that's good it will work for. Everyone absolutely if suddenly you did not start you did not load means you have not Hynix ADI MDI. Means you have some trash. Do you have any microns there? Samsung's? Well, Samsung's though also probably not. Samsung's wouldn't load with secondary like that tertiary that's accordingly look for problem of your RAM. This will work for everyone absolutely, but I do not urge you to leave everything as it is. I encourage further with this work go to BIOS and look. I admit the possibility that you have a Hynix ADI MDI and you had no start, you failed to load. Very rare, but it happens that the memory controller just very miserable got caught. Accordingly, he will pull you only have 5,800. You don't turn till 5,100 and then do everything. I show either you can try juice voltage, put 1.3 volts. Fucking well, of course, I didn't tell you that well just to see the case in memory controller, or not well put 1.3 volts and look at the constant 1.3 V. I wouldn't leave this, is just to make sure, then return everything as it was. That's good. Further, as I said, I won't find out if it will work. I have 6,400 stable for this. I even probably still a little bit at voltage to RAM. Just to definitely not stuck voltage RAM, and in the VDDIO, put 1.3 volts, unless you want to test your luck. Watch, will you work? 6,400 on your systems, or not. Spoiler, it works. For about everyone on every 15th system, well about 115 probably that she will work, but I'm a lucky person respectively. There is a chance that now I will be fine, so put 6,400 at once. See, board instantly changes 1 2 to type. She already says in advance that even fuck not try, but we put 1 to 1. If you don't want to try your luck, then next you just put 6,200 and that's it. And further tuning, timing, tune, primary agreed well, but I put 6,400 and I immediately save profile to later. I did not have to manually recover, because to me too lazy to do it on this amazing board. To keep BIOS, you need to go to OC Tweaker and to the very bottom drop down in principle. This is logical, yes, no, not logical. Further, safe user profile, enter name. 6,000 all saved. Well, now press and F10 and let's go. So the start is well, there is hope. Even 6,400 will work, but look, start it still means nothing, because in the first there are system errors, there are hardware errors which we will now catch, so pin code will not tell anyone. 3198. Next we go into overclock, and how we will test. We go to AIDA first, then click on this one light and leave a tick only GPU. What not, don't leave here. We press start. And pay attention to us, there is actually a built-in video here. We have now GPU 1 and GPU 2 works respectively. Press stop, we go to BIOS, and we need to turn off the iGPU. Well, we naturally do it if we don't use it well here. I am not using her, I do not need her construction. I have a video to me, no integrated needed, so I will turn it off here. We went to BIOS, go to onboard device. Oh, the backlight can turn off perfectly. I do not need further onboard HD audio too. I don't need you. Can turn off the display priority. Well, it is clear that, so where is she? Oh, Bluetooth. I can turn off shorter on the term everything through the ASRock. Go to NBIO common options. In short, you understand. Further, GFX configuration. DGPU only mode. Click enable like this. After that we press the safe. So we look at everything further. We will do everything same as we see. We have everything. Second GPU fell off. It is no more. We turned it off, decided, then open TM5 on behalf of the admin. Next we need to go to settings, press testing, choose enter 777, then choose the sign of the eggs here. Are the eggs chosen by pressing OK, then close, reboot again, turn on AIDA. Yes, I'm a fool for a bit. Very everything consistently shows oh fucking error. In short, everything does not work. We have 6 for all exit noises. Other downgrade squadro increase. So's voltage by 1.3 volts, but 1 and 3 volts. Even if it works, I will not sit on 1 and 3 volts. Wow. Hello, well, you get it. Everything go to BIOS. Everything 6 for 00. I will not work, so we make 6,200 our favorite birthdays. 6,200, which will work practically 95% of people on Hynix ADI and MDI. And here, by the way, the problem is not the fact that most likely not even in RAM, and the problem in the memory controller, and the problem motherboard. That's accordingly if you straight really whites for 0 or maybe even 6 1,600 to work with a 1-to-1 divisor you need to. DI motherboards, these are the ones in which you can only put two modules, RAM on them, track shorter signal is stronger, correspondingly more likely that will work. 6 for 006600 to 1, and that happens even on such boards, does not work because there is more. Another variable in the form of a processor memory controller, and here you cannot guess, either he is successful or unsuccessful. There are people who even been processors, that is, by memory controller and by cores, and well, let's say they bought it from them. 6,400. Did not start normally, they sold it, bought another one, or their store passed. And this happens, gentlemen. Okay, go to BIOS and put 6200. So we loaded, next you need to change everything back. What are we putting here? 6,200 will almost always work here, you see, the motherboard. Again on unto L, when you next voltage is 1.25 volts. Next VDD voltage 1, and for this will be more than enough for us further go to timings, DRAM timing, and no stand. SOS voltage still remember, and in we saw what a smart motherboard herself put on 1, and to hear you go the ASRock. I was just asking to be reminded, well, the motherboard did everything herself, so further DRAM timing control C we will do. CL30, yes, you can even CL28 swing, that's what you want. What do you think, what will be better, CL28 or CL30? Don't even know, well, see. CL30, since we still have difficulty right now with RAM. I do not know when you watch this guide, maybe we are there from 2028 and you have RAM, well, just for the price of seeds you can also buy, go there for. 5 now giving or commonly. You make CL26, this is your problems here, we have other problems now. That RAM is expensive, really very expensive, and even such an operative not everyone can afford because, well, many have to work there for half a month to earn yourself. 32 gigabytes DDR5, especially since the CUSU of AliExpress, and without guarantee on CL28. I will not put her, probably why? Because I will have to DRAM voltage increase it, and the higher the voltage on RAM, the higher the heating. Yes, here, radiators are good, that is everything, but we only see the sensor from SPD. We don't know how memory banks really warm. Maybe there's one chip loose, pad fits, and let's say one chip is bad. I will worry about this chip, poor, he is sitting there, one, he's hot there, everyone else's pads are pressed him good there, and he sits sweating here, and you throw even more voltage on him, and he is shocked there at all. I already sorry for him now, tears in my eyes will go shorter, no, so CL30, I hope I convinced you. And further TRCD here, I do not know, let's 38 next 38 further TRAS 50, because 38 plus 12 where 12 is TP over, he is down there, you see it on 12, 1 will be 50 and TRC 88, everything is fine. Tufsk 1 for now, also leave, come back at the end, straight at all at the end, further press safe, and exit enter, and go to Windows. So we loaded here is the result of AIDA, if anyone is interested, well, about something to focus on like this, plus minus good further to us all. To test properly we need to well run AIDA. Here click on the light run stress test GPU. This is needed not only for that to increase RAM heating, because well your RAM is under the GPU. All modern graphics have a see-through plate from which hot air fans blow up. Where is your RAM located? And she's extra heated this by itself for this to we run GPU, but there is another moment load on right lines more respectively still for this we run, that's after what go to TM5 run from the admin and test. We have here you see eggs exposed respectively. It will not finish, it will test. Well, look at 32 gigabytes for about a start, probably 30 minutes enough. After that you can calmly go and try to type TRCD here. You see we have 30, 38, 38, 50 respectively. Try 36, 36, 48 here and see how TM5 will react to it. Immediately there will be errors or missteps. Either you can, since there is leave, and basically everything is fine, but the test will need to be chased properly, probably hours 3, 4, and in the background open just in case. Winfo, in order to monitor the temperature of your memory chips, well, more precisely not memory chips. SPD sensors, we only see memory banks, we don't see, but still such approximately landmarks up to 50 degrees. You should not worry much. Well, 54, well, the edge is probably 56, if there are any duals. If more, well, we need to do active cooling that sometimes make it impossible. If you have a cooler standing and overlapping. RAM, then this is generally death. Why is he here? Because here look, you have RAM and a cooler. Our AM is heated radiator is hot, they exchange heat with each other. There is nowhere to go, and active cooling you will not do much well there. I remember one time there. I got it on top on the cooler radiator. Put the turntable a fan that blew down, disrupting all the streams at all, but RAM warmed less than 8 degrees. That is, well, this is kind of a way out. Or if you have a liquid cooling system, you can on video card either attach the fan close to the hoses to RAM and it will blow on. RAM and the temperature will be less by 10-15 degrees. Helps a lot here. Are also sold. Ready-made RAM cooling systems are inexpensive, 1.200, but in terms of efficiency they are, so to speak, less effective than just good ones. There is a 140th fan with normal revolutions which will just blow on your RAM, but they are prettier here. You think if you don't have the option to put fan, this sometimes happens, and RAM is expensive. Respectively, what can be done with its natural to lower voltage? Let's probably clearly show you how to act in this case. We go to BIOS, so we are in BIOS, and find voltages. We have 1 point for volts. Standing here, you put there 1 volts like this, with 1.3 to 1.35 volts. Depending on temperature here, we go to timings, and the first timing. CL put, for example, on 34, that's most likely 6,200 at voltage 1 and 32 volts CL34. Will work quietly because frequency is still more important for AMD than timings on Intel. You can still fight it somehow well. Again, purity with a 1-to-1 divider on Intel may be of course there, and in timings leave, but here is more important. Who would not say anything after all? Cleanliness is more important, especially on 3D respectively. I think the meaning you caught you increased TCL there, maybe even on the CL36. But due to this, though the voltage in there not 1 and 32 volts 5 volts. Don't know, of course it will work, or not. Well, you will find out for yourself in our case. You do not need to find out anything. I have no active cooling the CUSU. Basically by giving to SPD sensor good, but I would just sting a little. Voltage just 1, and for we put as if and forgot, but no, I want to put the voltage even less than in XMP EXPO Profile respectively. We will even have no longer overclocking RAM but undervolt RAM, because voltage there's less respectively. We have a look, and the performance is higher and operative easier. She warms up less and will live longer. Well, about less warming there, of course, because of TREFI is not a fact. Oh well, here we put 138 volts VDDIO. If you really want, put 1.35 volts. Here's a good remind me to go back to Infinity Fabric, then save and exit, enter, go to Windows and run AIDA again and run TM5 right now. The only thing I will only come back to BIOS, will check will I bring CL30 back, and then maybe there is CL34. I have standing EM now on my board here also. Well, there's working about 600 CL30. Well, if they're of course smart, turn you buying and fiberden 64 CL32. And if with a divisor of 1-to-1, much better. Also do not forget about TRCD. You can also try at 37 or even 36. That's well. And also testing TM5 about 40 minutes an hour, and check well. I will not rely so much. I put this is how there is the only thing we watch. Never found out what memory banks we have. That is, we have Hynix ADI or MDI. Let's figure this out. See me right now. To definitely not stuck the voltage. I will put 1.42 volts, but it was optional to do, but that was reinsurance here. And now I will put from a DTR FC. It will be well at 6200400 about. Well, either they're 416 here. If now my computer will start, everything will boot. We have Hynix ADI got caught. If not start, then all this is MDI. Let's probably even put a little with a stock of 416. Well, because ADI are also different after all. You understand that just in case, we will even put 416, and basically it will show to more than if we have a startup give. If not start, we have MDI. Let's go. So comrades, we start along the way. It is ADI. After also linked to this RAM kit, leave in the description. But we trust, but check right now. Look, maybe he threw in the JEDEC and we are here boot in JEDEC. Just in case, right now, of course, let's see. Here's the fastest. You know this probably how it will be. Go to Zen timing and run Zen timing. No, we have not ADI. We have MDI. Well, and okay, rushed well. I'll leave the link just in case anyway. No, we still have. MDI this is why we return probably not 560 even, but 512. These are normal. TR/FC nothing will be overeaten. We put it there too much with stock, that is. We return 512 TR/FC, so we work with what we have. And BTW pay attention, and the ASRock did not throw off. Everything is in default. You do not need to upload a profile. Now nothing, we just go into timings. Here we go. 416 change to 512, press the safe, and hope that now we will definitely load. So great, we started. Let's check. What are we now? Again, not in. JEDEC 30 TRFC 512. As we delivered well in general, we have. Hynix MDI, yes, Chinese of course, damn, also well done on 6400 CL32. Put Hynix MDI, then wonder why do they have fucking in the XPO profile errors. Rash well. And still at the same time 1 and for B they need to put well in short. Look, if you bought them and want them to work at XPO, you put EXPO profile, but TRCD put somewhere on 40 as I showed, and voltage 1 point for 5 volts. And basically here the radiators are more or less normal. It will work for you, but better exhibit. As I showed you, it will be much, much better. Productivity will be greater than sit there 6401 to TR/FC. Under 1,000 hectares, even funny actually such numbers to call so good. We found out that we have Hynix MDI, and now we need to check for errors. What we have 6200 CL30 TRCD 38 at TR/FC 512. We will work without errors. So voltage C, we have 1 point for 2 volts. I was exposing, I don't know why me. Even though it's Hynix MDI, most likely it will be about 1 and 42 volts on Hynix MDI. Well, if comrades, if operate with our experience of overclock, we get approached a lot AM5, and Hynix MDI then range from 1 and 4 volts 2 and 45. Some even have 1 point for 5. Have to put. I still want to go home today at least, until 12, so let's probably 1 point for 2 volts. We'll put like this, so leave here. We will check already for errors properly. Well, properly you will have it. 2 hours. I have approximately 40 minutes, well 30, and after that, and after we find out what do we have exactly. With timing everything is good. The voltage for these timings is enough, only then we can change Infinity Fabric. Cause if we rewrite do not test timings and RAM frequency, we won't know because of what we pour errors during Infinity Fabric selection. You understand, that is. You need to test TM5 at 32 gigabytes, preferably 2 hours, at least chase play games, and it is desirable to sit in the browser, simply to sit in the browser properly. That is a lot of tabs there open there. YouTube for K, they're all things YouTube for K, yeah, at 2026 fucking well, you understand what I mean. Here is great safe text. And we go to test, so in this mode we test 40 minutes or hour. Well, the more the better. Be sure to make sure the eggs are standing. Here, that it won't finish the test there in 5, after 10 minutes there in half an hour. And here's what else we can do. Well, how did I said we can try to put even less voltage. How to do it you already know, that is. Here now, we are testing at 1 point for 2 volts. Wow, how am I on time then? Oop, how did I start on time? Oh, okay, looks like I'm not leaving early today, so we have a blue. What to do? This most likely suggests that we have not enough voltage. And how could you notice their rewind back? We have a temperature there already under 54 degrees. SPD was picking up. What can we do? First option, put 1 point for 5V, and throw active cooling in the form of a fan. Second option, to put not CL 30 but Sally van Lorowitz 40,000 Sally 30. And leave the voltage as it is, or even lower it here. Choose. Well, here are 3 chairs. You have which one for me to do? Here's me, to be honest, I don't want put active cooling in 1 and 45 volts. Well, not an option, because basically 1 point for 2 volts already, and there the more voltage the stronger the delta. Well, what's next? The more temperature scaling from voltage respectively. Well, not an option to put more voltage. I do not want everything. We have left CL32 or 6000 CL 32. Why? Because, well, as I said, AMD, especially 3D, they like more frequency than timings. That's how they have it instituted. That's accordingly I go into timings. I put, oh my gosh, fucking 32 TRCD. You can, of course, with reserve, put TRCD 40 to straight. For sure, but let's probably not do it. Leave 38. Just figuring out maybe it's even now dump than TRCD was this can be by the way well if the sticks are straight badly unsuccessful. And really this can be so. I will leave 38 to make sure here for sure later or the voltage well here either as it is or try to squeeze, but I'll probably leave it as it is now to find out if this TRCD was just in case we press everything safe and exit and OK and all the same run also reverse. Attention itself embedded video core, turned on even though I was turning it off, you saw for yourself I didn't do anything turned on at first I thought that just BIOS threw themselves into default no everything is in place nothing changed well. Here we go and try to turn it off again. So CL32 immediately error. I do not know what is wrong with him damn really TRFC really either TRFC or TRCD here's one of two probably even. TRCD is more like you can hear you go and CUSU. Okay, we go to BIOS change TRCD to 40 so looks still possible there may have been a problem in the TRCD that these modules are so unsuccessful. Not only is it MDI they also have TRCD unsuccessful well that is the combo was straight put together. I put TRCD 40 but returned in CL30 on the same voltage. That is, if now there will be no errors for half an hour, then it was a classic dump. TRCD, that is now testing if everything is fine, well mean shorter on these modules. At least on mine you need to put more. TRCD significantly more than average here. We are waiting so comrades. Congrats to you. Especially those who have watched to this point because guide was very difficult but the one who watched it from beginning to end now know. Problem will understand and what problems can he get out there and how to solve them. Here's me not cropping it on purpose. There. Could have just said here immediately you need to put TRCD 40 there and that's it no much more interesting to pass all this way together and you, by analogy can then any problem well almost any naturally there is a lot more did not enter the guide because well unreal you won't be there for 5 hours to watch variants of different overclock right same right. So what was the problem? The problem was in TRCD, that is well not enough that MDI here also TRCD is not very successful respectively. I returned tu sali 30 terzi don't forse fortuit something minutes have passed you will not tell you this is not the first such cycle now. I just did not show you. There was still passing before so everything is fine. Well everything is fine. Ideally sweat for up to 2 more hours. That would be straight up great after that reboot a couple more hours to sweat here to play games and so on. Well pretend that we did it all and that you will definitely do it all too. That's important so that then you don't wonder why unexpectedly you have a blue screen or some drawdown. Everything is fine with it finished. Concluded that if suddenly you do not understand why some errors sprinkle then quite possibly it's a dump TRCD either lack of voltage either you have you thought you have a die especially applies to those who bought Team Group Expert or whatever they were called here is 6000 CL38 and according to old information still thought they were a die but in fact give it to MDI here you try to do there like a die but don't understand why you don't have overclocks there and this is just give them chips. Replaced can be replaced here at any time here. Let's say now MDI. There might be Samsungs in the next batch and then from the bar shoulder we'll put the ADI in this Kusu 6 for OO these ADI things. So with this we're done. What's left for us? We have to FCLK everything is rebooted. We go to BIOS so we find Infinity Fabric and C on the 9000 Ryzen here is a worker well. On average it works about 2100 probably 21,002,133 but there is a case when higher 2033 not working respectively smoothly increase by a little bit by a little. I know in advance that I work 2133 straight consistently stable 2167 like 2 but I prefer to put a little bit lower from the supposedly stable which by the way is impossible to fully test because well at least according to my information here for today still doesn't exist any one test which would 100% find stable Infinity Fabric anyway. Even though you will test there for 20 hours you can go in any game you will have their times blue screen or drawdown respectively. The message we find is kind of like on tests full stable let's say 2167 but put one step less to 133. I put to 133 in advance And now, I will show you how to test. So in order to give us a FCLK, well, more or less we need OCCT and prime. First we go to OCCT, and here we open the stability test and go into the RAM. There is the same system as AIDA. So press start. Well, that's parallel opening prime. 95 here, we choose large mode and press OK. So if for about an hour you probably have either there will be a blue screen, either there will be errors here. Either here you will see error, then well naturally does not put below one step below. Infinity Fabric, if everything is good, we try to raise one step. You can also of course not wait an hour for promotion, and let's say 20 minutes, then step up. And if you immediately catch everything, then naturally then 2 steps down. So well, basically testing Infinity Fabric, you know how I think next you will figure it out yourself. Principle, you understand. Now, let's see the final result. So we remind the processor is not clocked. Overclocked it will be in the next guide on the same motherboard, and more guide is planned with divisor 1, 2 to so well. Each guide will be in theory to option, so an excuse to sign up. The results are on your screen, and compare with XMP. Think now. Also compare now. The editor will beautifully show you what happened before, what happened after. Subscribe to the channel, like if the video was useful, and I hope it was useful. I wish everyone high FPS and low input lag.